Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! I have always believed that the most beautiful thing about Freya Sky is that she's so young, but she writes such beautiful music. And that's what's made this love story between herself and Malachi Burton the greatest love story ever told. I would just like to take a moment to say thank you so much to every fan of this franchise who has fallen in love with this YouTube channel every single time and has chosen this YouTube channel as their favorite YouTube channel when it comes to Descendants of Zombies videos, having made it the most popular Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel in the universe. I say the universe because this universe is only so big, and there is somebody out there tonight who loves Descendants of Zombies so much that they want new videos about Descendants of Zombies every single time they watch YouTube videos. Unfortunately for you guys, it has become very difficult to find the best Descendants of Zombies content because nobody shares the same passion or the same pride whenever it comes to uploading videos about Descendants of Zombies. So I've always wanted to dedicate my life to each and every one of you and upload videos about Descendants of Zombies, even if that meant having to upload videos about Descendants of Zombies every day for the rest of my existence. I say this because you guys have deserved far better videos about Descendants of Zombies for a very long time, and I just wanted to be your voice. I wanted to share in your stories about what made you fans of Descendants of Zombies, hear your stories for what they were worth, about how you drew passion from your favorite characters, and these beautiful love stories. It all began with Zed and Addison over 7.5 years ago. Unquestionably and undeniably, Zed and Addison held a very special place in each and every one of our hearts for their powerful love story and how much heart and dedication they showed to the Zombies franchise because they knew they were going to be a part of something special. They had forever and always meant to be a part of something special, and they had that chance. And now Malachi Burton and Freya Sky had that exact same chance, but this is going to be a far more beautiful love story than we have ever seen or experienced in together. It is something that we are going to share in. It is something that we are going to love forever and always, and I'm going to do the absolute best that I can when it comes to uploading the best reviews about Freya Sky and Malachi Burton that anybody has ever seen. I say this because I know what it's like to be each and every one of you, and I know what it's like to feel very passionate about a franchise like Descendants of Zombies, because when you really think about it, has there ever been a franchise that has touched your heart as much as what Descendants of Zombies has succeeded at doing? I don't think there ever has been. You know, I think back on all the generations that I've had the chance to be a part of ever since the lateral part of the 1980s, from 1986 and up, and I could never remember a franchise that I was as big of a fan of as I was Descendants of Zombies. It may have had something to do with how everybody showed up at my door every year on Halloween trying to get me to guess who they were when they were dressed up as their favorite Descendants of Zombies characters. And if Kylie and Cheryl loved to dress up as herself on Halloween along with Malia Baker and go door to door trying to get everybody to guess who they were, I don't see anything wrong with you guys doing it either. So when you guys used to show up at my door every year on Halloween dressed up as your favorite Descendants of Zombies characters, I must say you guys left me inspired, so much so that I would sit behind my laptop every night and I would search up everything that I could find about your favorite Descendants of Zombies characters just to have the chance to talk about them. I had no idea how I was going to be received or responded to by Descendants of Zombies fans who came by the millions to this YouTube channel, but you guys accepted me as your voice of Descendants of Zombies, and I've never left since, and nor have I had any regrets. I say this because this really has become the greatest honor of my life to talk about these love stories and to tell these love stories over 1,000 times about Victor and Nova, Zed and Addison, because these characters undeniably held a special place in each and every one of our hearts, and they will never ever be forgotten because of their contributions. And you guys will never ever be forgotten because of your contributions and how much Descendants of Zombies meant to each and every one of you. Because for somebody out there, Descendants of Zombies meant something different. People felt passionate about the music. People felt passionate about collecting the merch. People felt passionate about the story. People felt passionate about an actress who had the most unbelievable style that she or he brought forth to this franchise and really brought it to life. I think one of the most passionate characters we obviously felt very passionate about was definitely Milo Manheim's character Zed, who really showed us that, you know, we never really have to be afraid to let the world know how we truly feel about someone because we only get these opportunities every so often in a lifetime. And if you feel very passionate about somebody like he did for Addison, then it was something that you should never be afraid to let the world know how you truly feel about them. Because the thing is, it can really change your life, and really change your life in so many significant ways. And all Zed and Addison Madison ever wanted to do was spend the rest of their lives with each other because they loved each other so much. And even though we still have so much of a love story to experience together when it comes to Victor and Nova, now they've taken over as the lead roles in the Zombies franchise, with some people suggesting a title change because Milo Manheim and Meg Donnelly are no longer the leads. I think this is something to feel very passionate about moving forward, and I look forward to sharing with you my stories about what makes me a fan of Descendants of Zombies, because there is going to be something very special to be a part of for all of us. Undeniably, we are about to be a part of history, and I'm really excited to be a part of it and sharing it with each and every one of you. If you guys have a story about Descendants of Zombies, you're more than welcome to share with me in the comments of this video. You're also more than welcome to hit my like button and subscribe to this YouTube channel, because I have this question to ask to each and every one of you. On February 16, 2018, where were you? That was the night that history happened, and we were all a part of history, because that was the night Zombies had first premiered. Nobody knew what quite to make of the Zombies franchise, and it was a very different spin and a very different take on a love story and how it was presented. Nobody ever thought it would be possible for a girl to fall in love with a zombie. Probably from some sci-fi movie that you guys could probably remember watching from over a decade ago, but never as powerfully as this. You had a zombie who wanted to be a football star, and you had a girl who wanted to be a cheerleader, who would go on to embrace her true calling as a werewolf and an alien, which was very unique, very different, I must say, because I've never had the chance to fall in love with a girl who was either an alien or part zombie, but it looks really cool, and I probably would take myself on the opportunity if the opportunity ever presented itself, because I've always been trying to get abducted by aliens ever since I was probably, 13 years old. I remember many nights, countless nights, where I'd be laying out on my front lawn, and my mom would open up the window telling me to come inside because the chances of me being abducted by an alien were second to none. I never ever believed that the chances of never being abducted by an alien could never happen for me, because I remember being a fan of all these sci-fi shows and watching all these shows about alien abductions, and I felt really intrigued by it. So if there ever was a guy who wanted to be a part of the Zombies franchise from its initial beginnings, it would have to be this guy, because I think I would have a lot to offer to this franchise. And I've also noticed I've been paying close attention to the director's share and the executive producer's shares and roles for the Zombies franchise, and it seems like it's been a revolving door. It seems like they're always changing up the producers and the writers and the directors for Zombies all the time, and if there's one thing that you guys have forever and always deserved, it's somebody with that same heart and dedication that you guys have brought forth for this franchise and exemplified for what feels like forever. Because when you have a dedicated director, writer, and producer, a dedicated production team, magic is really going to happen for this one. And the thing is, we don't know what's inside of this vortex. We have yet to reveal what's inside of it. So people are speculating on mermaids, the potentiality of sirens being thrown into the conversations. Even pirates have made their way into this conversation. So I think that even though pirates have even made their way into this conversation, I think it really opens up the door for a more fantasy experience for everybody. And I know we have more people out there than ever given credit for who are fans of fantasy. I myself was always a fan of the popular video game franchise Final Fantasy. And I know that sounds very far out there and very far-fetched, but I mean, Final Fantasy had some of the most intriguing storylines of all time. I was also a big fan of fairy tales, so when it came to reading legendary stories about mermaids and pirates that have been told over hundreds of years, and be it that I live on this island where a lot of stories about pirates and mermaids have been associated with it over the years, I've really fallen in love with what mermaids can offer to a story. I've been a big fan of The Little Mermaid for forever. She was often described as one of my favorite Disney princesses of all time. And I'll tell you why Ariel was always one of my favorite Disney princesses of all time. How Jodie Benson could bring the voice of The Little Mermaid to life by singing. She didn't really focus on a script. She just put so much meaning behind every lyric she ever sang for songs like Part of Your World and Under the Sea. And it was just so beautifully collaborated. I think that more people took a chance on Jodie Benson as the voice of Little Mermaid than ever before, more so than they ever did for Hailey Bailey, because it was just something with a classic princess's portrayal that you very quickly fell in love with. You know, I remember years ago when I was probably about 7 years old, one of my first Disney books that I ever was the recipient of was The Little Mermaid and The Lion King. And I remember being a huge fan of The Little Mermaid and choosing to want to read The Little Mermaid story over The Lion King or any other Disney story that had ever been told or comprised for a child's book, before anything else because it was just a beautiful story. And I remember being so intrigued by the opening of the original movie, all the music that made it a part of the score. It really brought that franchise to life, and we would see the sequel where Melody, the daughter of Ariel and Eric, would go on to discover her passion and true calling to be a mermaid. And that was a very unique story. So then you wonder about characters, finding their way into the Descendants franchise. What about the daughter of Prince Eric and Princess Ariel, Melody? I think that she would offer a lot to this franchise. So for people wondering if we should keep the door more widely open than ever before for more characters to see their introduction into this franchise, I think we should, and I think we can really get away with that, because I think that Cinderella and Alice in Wonderland characters have created a very different perception for the Descendants franchise. And I know it may have taken a lot of people a lot longer to fall in love with characters inspired by Alice in Wonderland and Cinderella for many, many years. I'll be honest with each and every one of you. I fell in love with these characters more quicker than I did the originals, because these characters were very fearless. They were stronger. They were more powerful. And they wanted to achieve more than their mothers ever wanted them to achieve as Disney villains. And I think they ultimately achieved that because they understood the value of friendship. They were there for each other every step of the way. And I know that a lot of us could relate to these characters more than we ever had any character from every other franchise, talking about and taking into consideration Hannah Montana, Wizards, Sweet Life. There have been so many franchises that have come in and of our lives, but we have never fallen in love with these franchises who just pretty much prided themselves off the scores and the music that Hannah Montana would write. I seriously doubt Hannah Montana really even wrote any of her music, but we more quickly fell in love with this franchise because of just how beautiful it was. The reason why the story between Victor and Nova is so beautiful is because we really don't know anything about it. And as we learn more about their story and what they want to achieve in life, I think we're even going to more fall in love with these characters than we ever did Zed and Addison, because Zed and Addison really did hold a special place in each and every one of our hearts. And I know there are fans of the Zombies franchise that will forever and always miss Zed and Addison. And I want you guys to know that I am forever and always with you. And that's why I proudly said that I will take bullets up against every critic who has ever had a problem or an issue with Descendants of Zombies. Because I remember the criticism all the music videos for Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires received, even music videos from past collaborations of the Zombies franchise. Zombies 2 by 2020, and Zombies 3 by 2022. They all received their fair share of criticism. And a lot of it had to do with how nobody really ever wanted to take much of a chance on the Zombies franchise. But when you do fall in love with the Zombies franchise, I promise you, you will never have any regrets. Perhaps you have a family member who is very intrigued by the Zombies franchise, that has fallen under the Zombies spell. And when you really sit back and put it into perspective, it's not very hard to figure out why they've fallen under the Zombie spell, and it's been unbreakable for forever. It's got everything to do with how they've always had a dream of being a part of something special. You know, SpongeBob SquarePants, in the Search for SquarePants movie earlier this evening that I saw, asked Mr. Krabs, everybody has a dream. What's yours? And while he couldn't answer SpongeBob's question, he knew he had a dream. He just didn't know at that moment what his dream was. I think everybody's had a dream, from Sabrina the Teenage Witch to Topanga from Boy Meets World. They've all had dreams. And eventually, everybody does find their light. It may take some people longer than others to find it, but I've always believed that everybody has a light and everybody has a dream that they want to become a reality. It's just about how they're going to make that dream become a reality for them. Because when you sit back and you reach a moment in your lifetime where you realize this is happening for you, a dream that you probably had for years and years on top of years becoming a reality for you, there is no greater feeling in the world. And I think it has everything to do with the friends that come into our lives that have forever and always supported us, never ever left our side. Because one dream that we all have is to find one special friend that we can keep as a part of our lives and in our lives for forever, to really be our guiding light, to serve as support, to serve as hope for us existing out in a world that sometimes is very difficult to present a chance of hope ever existing for any of us. And I think that's what Zed and Addison, Meg Donnelly, and Milo Manheim saw in each other, not just as cast members that told the story of Zed and Addison, but as lifetime friends, because they've been friends for pretty much all of their lifetime. They've lived together at even one point or another in their lifetime. And I know a lot of people don't discuss that, but they did live together at one point or another in their lifetime when they were collaborating on Zombies, and they had such huge aspirations for being writers and producers moving forward with the Zombies franchise. And the cool thing is, we will see them return, probably as directors and producers, offering as mentors in the Zombies franchise, but that's where the creativity will light up. and it will light up the screens for Disney Channel and Disney Plus for many years to come, because what we're setting up here for is the telling of a new trilogy, a brand new story of characters we really don't know that much about. But when you think about the history of vampires and werewolves and aliens, there is so much that ties in with that very significantly. And we got that from Twilight, The Vampire Diaries, even True Blood, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which I was a huge fan of. And we still have a long way to go with these beautiful love stories, because the thing is, Malachi Burton and Freya Skye love each other so much. I remember when they shot a behind-the-scenes retrospective on the making of the Dream Come True music video, and they were getting on the wires to shoot that scene where they flied and discovered the power to shoot fire. And I remember Malachi Burton telling everybody how proud he was of Freya Skye, and then it came to Freya Skye's commenting on Malachi Burton, and she wanted everybody to know that she never had the courage to tell him, but she wanted everybody to know that she loved him so much. And it was at that moment that I knew that they were going to be something special, and they were forever and always going to remain supportive of each other and a part of each other's lives. Because I think we all get to that point where we think about spending the rest of our lives with that one special person that may have came into our lives, that seems to be a part of our lives for forever, that we never have the courage to tell how we truly feel about them. But you should never be afraid to let the world know how you truly feel about somebody who maybe have come into your life, that you think about, that you have a chance that you could perhaps spend the rest of your life with. I know this has happened to me many times over the years, and I know it can happen for you too, because no matter who you are, whoever you may be watching this video, I know you have a dream, and I know your dream is always to become a reality, and you're that much closer to your dream than perhaps you've ever realized. And I think that Descendants and Zombies has really allowed us to really put that into perspective, and this is why the love story of Victor and Nova has always and forever held a very special place in each and every one of our hearts. And I will talk about this more tomorrow when I upload a new video for you guys on this YouTube channel, because just to let you know what's happening on this YouTube channel, I will be here on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, even Chinese New Year, Valentine's Day, and so on throughout 2026. I don't break on this YouTube channel, and I'm here for every calendar holiday. I'm here for every momentous time and historical moment where we take a retrospective look on the history of Descendants of Zombies. So when it comes to birthdays and celebrating things of significance, when it comes to the history of Descendants of Zombies, because there's so much to discuss and so much for us to get into, I love having the opportunity to record so many wonderful videos for people who love Descendants of Zombies, because I really do believe that you guys have deserved far better reviews for a very long time, because the most of it is pretty much just AI. The majority of it is just pretty much reaction videos, and I've never really seen the purpose of recording reaction videos. I have uploaded them by using OBS Studio, which is pretty much what everybody does, because they want to get reactions from every fan of Descendants of Zombies while discouraging every hope and dream that you've ever had about something happening and coming to be for the Zombies and Descendants franchises. The reality of these YouTube creators are they don't really appreciate you as fans of Descendants of Zombies, and I've just wanted to be that one guy who did appreciate you as fans of Descendants of Zombies, who wanted to listen to your stories about how you drew inspiration from your favorite characters. And I just wanted to be a part of each and every one of your lives, and I just wanted to be a part of these franchises. I had no idea that I would go on to garner the reputation of becoming familiarized as your voice of Descendants of Zombies with each and every one of you. But I really do perceive it as the greatest honor of my life, because while one can choose to upload a reaction video or a review of Descendants of Zombies, the question you've always got to ask yourself in the back of your minds are, do they really know everything there is to know about these beautiful love stories that we first fell in love with at the expense of Zed and Addison, and then we fell even more in love with at the expense of Victor and Nova? Because the reality of this is we still have a long way to go, so that means these love stories are far from over, and it gives us something to be really excited about for the foreseeable future. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day, and beyond throughout 2026, because 2025 was a really big year for Descendants of Zombies fans, and 2026 promises to be just as big, because we have the Leg 2 of the Worlds Collide Tour already in talks over at Disney for Leg 2 of the Worlds Collide Tour to be heading overseas in late 2026. And in midway 2026, halfway through the calendar year, sometime between now and summer 2026, we have the upcoming release of Descendants by Book of Wonderland, which I know everybody is really excited about, and it's a conversation that we can never seem to stop talking about, even though we still have over 7 months to go until Descendants 5 Book of Wonderland drops on both Disney Channel and Disney Plus. People have been asking me the question, do I think that Descendants 5 is going to be on Disney Channel, or do I think it's going to be on Disney Plus for its subscribers? I think it's going to be on both, and I think it will kick off on Disney Channel because I know people are not subscribed to Disney Plus, and that's really unfortunate. But the cool thing is, if you're a subscriber to Disney Channel, no matter who your provider is, Verizon, HD, or whatever, you will see this. And I think that it's something to be really excited about. And I'm looking forward to being a part of that future with each and every one of you. So all I've ever wanted you to do, if you take anything away from these videos at all and hold on to something special, is to hold on to your beliefs when it comes to Descendants of Zombies. Some of you think we're going to see mermaids. Some of you think we're going to see sirens. Some of you have speculated on pirates. Whatever your beliefs are, I want you to continue on believing in that because we still have a long way to go and a whole lot to be excited about and to discuss and to get into. So if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, you're probably going to want to think about doing that as we look at the same moon here tonight. I want you guys to know, as we look at the same moon and share in everybody's stories about how you're a fan of Descendants of Zombies, just know that you are special to the Descendants of Zombies franchises, and I forever and always wanted to be a part of this. And because of this YouTube channel, what we created together, I had that honor, making 2025 a year that I know I will never ever forget and always and forever appreciate and hold a special place in my heart for every single time that we have these conversations about Descendants of Zombies. Thank you so much for having watched this video. I've been your host, Jonathan Clarke, never so more honored to be in your presence to discuss all things and everything related to the franchises you've known and loved growing up around and familiarized yourself with, really identified yourself as a fan of Descendants of Zombies. Thank you so much for having watched this video. We will pick up this conversation right where we left off tomorrow morning, bright and early. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Stay calm and zombie on into that foreseeable future. Because the reality of life is, it's stay calm or zombie on. It's Descendants Zombies or die. Because we still have a long way to go. Thank you so much for having watched this video.